Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now May 29th of 2025, and given that the Meghan Markle drama and the overall backlash that's been going on for the past several months is only getting worse over time, not just over at Netflix, but across the entire board. We know that everything else within the film industry is taking a slow turn of the tide right now, and biggest ones of all, we have studios like Netflix, we have studios out there like, of course, Amazon MGM Studios, and among others out there like HBO that decided not to work with Meghan Markle, and it's only getting worse from that point forward. Now, yes, we do know that Netflix is still moving ahead with Love Meghan Season 2, and we already know that Meghan Markle is pressuring Ted Sarandos, one of the CEOs of Netflix, to actually approve a Season 3 of the series. She's pushing for that. Meanwhile, you got Greg Peters, the other CEO of Netflix, that's really rejecting that outright. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one major aspect about the whole Meghan Markle drama that's only getting more severe at this point is the entire investigation that's taking place over at Netflix, the creative investigation that's actually looming over the second season of With Love Meghan. And I've said this once and I'll say it again, but this is really going to go in a way that will not work in Meghan Markle's favor at all. And if anything, it's going to actually put her in an even more intense position where other studios out there are going to look at the whole Netflix internal issues as something that will actually be a deal breaker for many studios that were even thinking about working with her. Now, what's interesting about this is that we already know that there's a lot of things going on with the reshoots that are set and ready to go by next month for With Love Meghan Season 2. However, with Meghan Markle in a state of panic over her status in the film industry, especially after all the setbacks that she created for With Love Meghan Season 2, one major development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle going off the rails in the midst of her acting career in Hollywood, going down the drain, essentially. Now, a crucial update to this entire situation now involves how, of course, Meghan's recent behavior is going out of control after she was put in the hot seat by Netflix executives, where they decided to launch a creative investigation over her copying other popular and unpopular programs for With Love Meghan Season 2 that went unnoticed. A shocking turn of events that took place is that Netflix producers and executives found that Meghan had copied several scenes from the hit reality TV show Hell's Kitchen in the hit series, of course, starring Gordon Ramsay. Specifically, lines of dialogue that were taken word by word and used in typical Meghan Markle fashion for the 4th episode of Season 2 was just discovered by Netflix executives. To make matters worse is that for episode 7 of Season 2, both the executives and producers found 3 scenes in total that directly copied moments from the Jersey Shore where Meghan Markle appears with some of her guests / her peers on camera. How the scene is done and what it entailed directly copied one of the episodes of the Jersey Shore, where Meghan Markle and the cameos that she selected for episode 7 took part in multiple moments where their hand gestures, the way that they spoke, and what she did on camera was a direct beat-for-beat copy of one of the Jersey Shore episodes, according to Netflix executives and producers. This actually involved a piece of drama in the series. The worst of all involved a scene where Meghan Markle and her friends are on a beach, specifically Malibu Beach. Here, Netflix execs discovered that Markle had directly stripped and copied a scene entirely from the hit series from the 2000s, Survivor. This too, was all based on stolen lines of dialogue taken from that show that served the subjects for her series, as well as the aesthetics that were taken from the series, and implanted into With Love Meghan Season 2. Now, guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about this. I can just say one thing about Meghan Markle is that I don't know how she actually got all those ideas and how they went unnoticed, and how she actually had the idea to copy all these shows, and how Netflix didn't catch on to that. Greg Peters didn't catch on to that, not even Ted Sarandos. Ted Sarandos, by the way, is more in favor of Meghan Markle, which is the sad thing. Meanwhile, you got Greg Peters, the other CEO, which really is one that's truly against her. So, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there are 2 CEOs running Netflix. This is something that I brought up a couple of times. But interestingly enough, we do know that Meghan Markle is trying to actually fight against the overall investigation, the creative investigation by Netflix, and she's already beginning to claim that these aren't, copied elements of dialogue or aesthetics from those shows, or, exact hand gestures and the way that the characters speak to each other and how things go. It's just inspirational. She was just inspired by those scenes, and that's her overall defense. And that's basically what she's actually, spewing against Netflix executives and producers. Now, all of these scenes are now instantly getting scrubbed by Netflix, and even CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos are shocked by the discovery. Markle is said to be taking this very personally and believes that this is a biased investigation against her that did not need to even happen. And she is already claiming that she never copied from those shows. They also discover more scenes that took the entire aesthetics from Pamela's cooking show, Pamela's Cooking with Love, over not just the scene, but the exact dishes of food that were presented in Pamela Anderson's show were used in the actual, of course, season of With Love, Meghan. How this went unnoticed by Netflix before is a mystery. However, Greg Peters reportedly urged Ted Sarandos to take action months and months ago against Meghan to prevent all this nonsense, and that worked, of course, to no avail. They are now officially embracing extensive reshoots that take place in June that will stretch all the way into July. Now, guys, we talked about this too many times. Originally, the reshoots were only supposed to be like 2-3 weeks maximum. It's now looking like it could be anywhere from 6 to 7 weeks in total. Of course, you're pushing to the very end of July at this point. And interestingly enough, alright, we know that this series, alright, this season, if you will, it will be a bigger ratings disaster than season 1. The main reason is, well, a lot of people already know about how terrible the first season was, and people are going to hear about the second season, and they're just going to actually say to themselves, oh, this thing again. And it's going to hit the mainstream media, it's going to hit social media, it's not going to work in her favor. And I would be damned if they actually do very well with that show. Because even her own fans are walking away, even her own fans are beginning to realize how fake, phony, and narcissistic she truly is. And that's exactly the position that Meghan Markle is in right now. She's really not in a good one. She's running out of overall options to the point where she has to fund her own projects. This, of course, has a lot to do with her podcasts, her ideas of a reality TV show that got shot down by Amazon. Even she herself is actually thinking about doing that on the internet. Hopefully not here, we'll have to wait and see, but overall, I think at the end of the day, we know a lot of things going on right now at Netflix. We know that Netflix is losing subs over all this drama. We know that Netflix is not losing subs just over Meghan Markle, let's be very real. But the increase of the overall rates for specific plans, right? And how they're also at the same exact time taking away content, beloved content. For example, The Karate Kid 1 through 3 is gone now, and among other popular films and franchises have been scrubbed from Netflix. But overall, I would really love to hear what everyone has to say about the whole creative investigation over, of course, Meghan Markle's actions, and what she copied from shows like The Jersey Shore, Hell's Kitchen, Survivor, Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love, and even The Real Housewives. I mean, the list goes on, and it's going to be very interesting to see what else they are able to discover. So overall, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this ongoing situation below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.